And some people are just fans.
There will be 4 data flags.
This looks kind of similar to what's been in the Odyssey. Is it Mercury in the Odyssey before?
No, they're using Jumpstart right now.
Jumpstart.
Yeah. Oh, good old Revolution. Live code and Jumpstart. Yep. Jumpstart's your fault.
Yeah, it is.
Morning, James. Morning, Chuck.
Chuck, it's been a while. How are you doing?
It's like slimy rope, not cable.
So Chuck, I don't know how much you've been able to use Thorium recently, but you're welcome to come and see the crew experience that we've got right now.
Oh,
We've
yeah,
just
you
got
got it
some
all set up and running.
demos set up for whoever wants
I've
to
got my own,
explore.
all my own.
That's good. We appreciate that too, because apparently we can't like download things on these computers. So
Yeah, you're
we
going to
can
have
just
to
play
have
around
your
on
own
them. So your own
computer
computer's ideal.
to play around with it.
Alex,
Yeah.
you can use Windows instead.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it.
I'm pretty sure that it should be fine. There was somebody on the Discord channel that was complaining about it not working on Windows. So if that's the case, then we'll do a couple of hot fixes when we get to a break so that you can actually work on it.
I do know for a fact that in the Valiant at any road, they actually have it running and working on Windows.
I mean,
Yeah,
this is all
and-
Windows right here. It's running.
Well,
now,
so
but-
the server though, the server's the
Oh,
weird part.
server's the weird part.
But and it's working just fine with the built version. It's the development version that's being funky. Yeah, and the Hyperion's all Windows too. Lionsgate Center's all Windows. So, okay. We've got just a couple more people that signed up to come, but hey, thank you all for coming. I'm super glad that you're all here. I am live streaming now. Yeah. So, hey to all the people live streaming and watching this. While you guys get set up, I'm just going to kind of go over the plan for today and then dive into the basics of Thorium, I guess, what it is, what it's for, how it works, that sort of thing. Okay. We'll give a few minutes for everybody to finish setting up. So those of you on the live stream, hang tight for just a second. We'll be back. Yeah. Pretty much development, like we can't actually install the development tools on these computers because I don't have. That's true, you totally could. Get back. It works with PowerShell. Yeah. And if you want, if you get Git and Node installed, in fact, I can walk you through that right now.
There's probably others that don't.
Yeah, so, yeah, we'll do that together. Can we do that together right now? Okay. Okay.
Maybe we can turn that light off, I guess.
Yeah, I'll turn the light off. And now it really does feel like a Space Center event. Nice and dim lighting. Okay, so hey everybody. Really quick, we'll go over the plan for today. We'll talk about how to get you set up for development, and then we'll go through all of the different things that you need to know to understand what Thorium's even for. I assume that most of you understand the basics of how these space adventure centers work with the crew and the flight directors and the missions and the simulators and stuff. But we'll go over that just for the sake of people that might be watching this video later, and then, yeah, go from there. So, really quick for our schedule today, we're just going to, it's 5 hours long, goes until 3. We'll have lunch at noon. First, we're going to talk about the pieces of thorium, how they interact and work together, and how it might be different from other Space Center paradigms, and how it might be the same, like from Jumpstart to Mercury to other things. We'll talk about projects that can be worked on. There's some things, a lot of things that are more code development based. There's some things that are design based, and there's some things that are just testing that anybody can do. So I think that there's something for all of us to do today, regardless of our development skill levels. And then if you are really wanting to get into development, but you don't really know like how, we can do some little mini sessions on the different technologies that you need to learn how to develop for thorium. I will say, though, that a lot of it is going to be based on how much time and effort you put into learning these things, but I guarantee, I promise, that learning the development tools that we use with thorium will make you a very valuable developer for companies that will actually pay you money. So, yeah. So we're going to, right now we're going to talk about the different pieces of thorium, and we'll get you set up with your development tools. We'll talk about automated testing at 11. At 12:30, right around after lunch, Crystal will lead some user testing to see if how things are in thorium work well, and to figure out how we can improve it. At 1 o'clock, we'll do a, wait, no, this schedule is different than the one I posted. So this might actually be totally different. Let me pull up my email really quick. Go away.
Yeah, there's a lot more detail on the one now than the one you posted.
Yeah, the one I posted, I purposely wanted to keep that. Yeah. Let's see. I have to find this email really quick so I can get the actual. I don't know where it is. Somewhere. There it is. Nope, that's not it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Just kidding. So at 11, we're going to be doing a deep dive into the back end and how the thorium server itself works. At 11:30, we'll do a deep dive into the front end, which is all of the screens that you see here, the flight director's court, basically everything the user interacts with. At noon, we'll have lunch. 12:30 will still be user testing, and then automated testing at 1, and then at 2, whatever, we'll work on stuff. So yeah, let's get everybody set up with development. If you have your own computer, you can follow along. If not, and you want to do this at home later, the video will be available online. The link will be posted on the Discord server. And if you're not on the Discord server, that's definitely the best way to get the latest updates and to ask any questions. I'm really responsive on there, so cool. So thorium's actually not super difficult to get set up. There aren't a whole lot of things that you have to install. Just 2 pretty standard developer tools. One of them is called Git. It's a version control system that lets you keep track of the changes that you make to your code over time, which makes it really easy if you make a mistake, or if you need to change something, or go back in time to old code, or keep track of multiple branches of code. It makes it really easy to do that. So we use Git, and the code for thorium is hosted on GitHub. You can download it directly from GitHub, but I think installing Git for development will definitely be easiest. So if you just Google, not GitHub, if you just Google Git, you'll find this git-sem.com website. And over here, you've got the download link for Mac or for Windows. So you just download that puppy and wait for it to download. And it'll download eventually. Let's click there. Awesome, there it is. Also, if you're on a Mac, Git is actually included in the Xcode developer tools, which you can automatically download. So if you just open a terminal on your computer, on Windows, if you just go to the Start menu and type in PowerShell, you can use that to type in terminal commands. Yes, we will be using terminal commands. Sorry if that's scary, but we'll walk you through that. If you're on a Mac, you can go to the Utilities folder, which you can do by going to Applications and then scroll down to Utilities and open that up. And then the terminal is right here. I like to access it by just doing Command Space and typing in terminal. And then your terminal window will show up. Yeah, give me just a second. And if you're on a Mac, you can just type Git, and it'll say, hey, you don't have the developer tools installed. Do you want to do that? And then it'll automatically install Git for you. So that's convenient. If you're on Windows, you have to download and install it. Okay, the second tool that we need is called Node.js. If you just Google Node, well, maybe if you Google, it'll come up with something else. If you Google Node.js, I'm a programmer, so I go to Node all the time. If you type in Node.js, you'll find this nodejs.org. And the download link is right here. Get the recommended for most users. That's 8.11.4 as of today. That's the version that I used to develop Thorium, but I suppose you could use whatever version you want. Like, don't go below that. And then you just download this installer, install it, and go to town. Welcome. We're just getting set up with our development environment. What's your name?
Jess.
Hi, Jess. I'm Alex. Okay. Where are we at?
I think it goes without saying, but if you have any questions or problems throughout, please stop and ask questions.
Yeah, if you want to stop me, you can just raise your hand. I'll answer it. If it's something that you just want to comment on, you can hop on the Discord or on the live stream and enter your questions there, and I'll get to those when we have a break. So raise your hand for synchronous requests. Put it through the thing for asynchronous requests. That was a programmer joke.
You have me download Visual Studio Code.
Yes.
Right. I connected right to Git on that.
I don't know actually if it has Git like built into it. That's awesome. Yeah. So Visual Studio Code is a really awesome resource. Can you clone from Visual Studio Code? That's awesome. Hey, let's try that. So. Like Chuck mentioned, Visual Studio Code is a really great IDE development environment for web development. It's got a lot of really great features. It has packages that you can use to supercharge what you're doing. It's what I use to develop, so obviously I'm biased. You can download that and install it. And then once you have Visual Studio Code open, I suppose if I just open this window here and then let's see. Yeah, if I come here to View and Command Palette, it looks like the Command Palette is where I can type in commands for Visual Studio Code, and this gives me a lot of capabilities. And I can just hit Shift Command P. I don't know what it is on Windows, something different. Control tilde. I wonder if that works on. No, that doesn't work on Mac. That opened just the terminal. That's cool. Anyway, so. And I suppose I can type git clone and then type in a repository URL. Awesome. And the repository URL for Thorium is https://github.com/thorium-sim/thorium. Just like that. And I have no idea what this is going to do, so let's do it. Awesome. It opens up a folder, and I get to choose where I put it. And I'm just going to put it on my desktop because I actually already have Thorium on my computer. And it's going to clone that, which means it's going to download all of the stuff necessary to run Thorium. It's going to download all of that history, all of the stuff that's right there. And then looks like once it's done, I can open the cloned repository, and boom, there we go. So cool. You learn something new every day. Thanks, guys. Cool. So yeah. This is Thorium. It's kind of cool, I guess. How are we doing? Are we ready to get moving on with like how thorium is kind of structured? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think BYU Public should work.
Good question. Wi-Fi is BYU.
There's a BYU Wi-Fi and EduRoam. Yeah, BYU Wi-Fi should be fine. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Yeah. One thing that you want to make sure you do, I have a habit where I'm pushing code to Thorium pretty much every day. So if you want to make sure that you stay up to date with the latest code, you want to make sure that you run some git commands to pull the latest code into whatever you're working on. Yeah, you can do that, certainly. So right down here, it has the name of your branch. And I'm not going to get too much into Git right now, but you can branch your features off. The main branch for Thorium, where I perform all of my development, is the develop branch. So if you pull your code from develop into whatever branch you're working on, then you'll have the latest code. To pull into the current branch that I'm on, I just click this right here. If I'm on a different branch, like say I'm on the, oh, I don't have it in here. Let me open up the actual. So suppose I'm working on a new feature like the railgun, and I've made some changes recently, and so I need to pull. Oh shoot! Oh, it just refreshed it. Okay, cool. I need to pull in all of the changes that I've recently made, and I can do that by pulling up the command palette and doing git pull from, and then I just choose whichever remote I want. Again, git's weird, so we'll talk about that later. And then whichever branch I want to pull from. And what this will do is take my branch and take the branch that I'm pulling from and take all of the changes here and put them into my branch as if all of those changes have been part of it all along.
If you're not super familiar with Git, after we do the general introduction to Thorium, we'll do a beginner's session introducing Thorium.
You should just watch. I wish there was a way to do it on these computers. I thought that I still had an administrator account in this lab, but either I don't or I can't remember my password, and I didn't set that up with the lab admin before. So unfortunately, we can't do any development on the lab computers.
But there are still different.
And Keith has you hooked up because he's just. If it runs Linux, it should run okay. I've never done it on a Pixelbook, but that would be awesome. Cool. Keith is the hero. Okay. Yeah, so that's how you can pull in the latest changes. Make sure that you do that so that you're up to date on the stuff that I've been working on, that other people have been working on, so that we can all have everybody's code. That's what open source is all about, right? Cool. Any other questions, any problems that anybody's having?
Okay, can you go through the process again of once you have everything installed, how do you find Thorium?
Oh, that's right. So now that we have, let me pull this up in its own big window there, and let me close that. Okay, now that we have our Thorium code open, there's just one more thing that we have to do, well, two more things to get Thorium running. The first is we have to install dependencies. Those are extra packages that I've pulled from the internet that we need to download and run in order to get Thorium working.
Is everyone in the room already at this point when you have Thorium open?
Well, if he's recording it, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, we'll go around and help you all out. Yeah, the idea is I'm gonna have several recordings of each of the segments. So once we get done with this segment, I'll stop this recording. We'll go out, help people, get everybody up to speed, and then we'll start a new recording for the next segment. So we'll probably push the schedule back a little bit, but we'll play it by ear. Okay, so one of the cool things about Visual Studio Code is it has a terminal built right into it. which is something I always forget. But if I pull up this integrated terminal, which suppose control tilde, nope, that didn't do it. Oh, control tilde, there we go. That opens up the terminal, and you can just find it up here in view integrated terminal. And then right here, I can type in the commands that I need in order to download the dependencies and run Thorium. So to download the dependencies, you just type npm install. One quick caveat on so I have Thorium split up into two separate packages, one for the server and one for the client. On Mac, you can just run npm install and it'll download all the dependencies for everything. But on Windows, you have to run npm install in the Thorium folder, and then you have to go to the server folder and run npm install, and then you have to go to the client folder and run npm install. So what that would look like is you would use the command cd, which is change directory, and then type server, and then npm install. And then once that's done, you would do cd ... which takes you back one level so that you're now in the main Thorium directory. And then like this, cd ... /client. That'll take me back to the main directory and then back into the client. And then I can do npm install again. And then once I'm done with that, I want to go back into the main directory one more time with cd ... Once this is done. And then I can run npm start, and that will start up Thorium, get it running, and it should automatically open a web browser. Over here I can see all of the stuff that's happening, all of the logs that are happening on the server side. And then once this is done loading, it takes a second to load in development, especially if your computer's a little bit older or slower. So, sorry if yours is older or slower. And it should load up just like this. Awesome. Yeah, so let's get everybody set up really quick. I'm going to stop the stream, and then we'll come back in just a little bit and talk about how the different pieces of Thorium